Another day, another potential pointless Sony remaster. Now me saying that has the potential of angering some people, but to that I say, I usually defend most things that Sony do, besides certain pricing of items and a lack of disk drive in a Pro console. Sony, do you even understand what the word Pro means? How are you selling the Pro console without all the items needed to make it the Pro edition? I'm definitely not salty that I didn't get the PS5 Pro, but regardless, this video is going to be talking about Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Now, while it is a discussion about that, I'll also be discussing Sony's very weird attitude of remastering certain games that don't need a remaster and that no one is asking for. And then on the flip side, not remastering games that people are quite literally begging for and would pay a boatload of cash for, but they just won't do it. And now let's play a game in the comments. Leave a comment down below with your #1 game that you would love a remaster for. And while deciding that, do the opposite of Sony. Pick like a PS2 or a PS3 game or something. Again, I don't get the obsession that Sony has with the Horizon IP to the point where Lego Horizon is being released in 2 weeks. Like, where was Lego Uncharted or Lego Sackboy? Low-key though, I do think Lego God of War would actually be kind of fire. Now, I do think the first Horizon game is actually a good game, and when it came out, I really did enjoy the game a lot. But when Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered got announced, you already knew what the reception was going to be, and I'll be one of the first ones to say that I was part of that reception, and that reception was just... why? Is this going to be another cash grab remaster that Sony has been accused of doing? I'm not against Sony or PlayStation doing remasters. To be honest, I'm one of those ones that welcome remasters more than most people, I feel. Like, just look at Shadow of the Colossus. Fantastic remaster. But did The Last of Us Part 2 really need remastering? Did Spider-Man really need remastering 2 years after the game originally came out, when the PS4 version was there and was backwards compatible with the PS5? Like, the first Last of Us, I get that. That game was stuck on the PS3. It was like the best game of that generation, arguably. Bring it to the PS4. Just because a lot of people from Xbox moved to the PS4 and obviously didn't get to play The Last of Us. So I get that. I get that port. Last of Us Part 2 though? Really? Because you could argue as well, all the things they added to those remasters could have just been patched in. Now, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, the game costs $50 on its own. But if you own the original game, it is a $10 upgrade. Now, I could just stop the video here and answer the video title, which is the Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster worth it? With just one word. Yes, if you own the game and you want to play it in the best possible way, the $10 upgrade, I feel like, is just an absolute no-brainer. Even if you don't own the game at all, but you have a disc drive in your console, which everyone should, you can buy the physical copy of the game for like $10 and then do the $10 upgrade, making the remaster a grand total of $20 to $25, which for this game in particular is a bargain. Like, this game is still phenomenal, especially if you haven't played this game before. Like, if you haven't played the first Horizon, I really recommend it. It's really, really good. Now, on the topic of the actual remaster itself, I think it is a really good remaster. The game just looks so gorgeous. The game is basically Zero Dawn ported into the Forbidden West sort of engine, if you could describe it as a different engine. Like, for example, you have Forbidden West's Aloy model. Then again, like I mentioned before, this game is just so nice to look at. Like, going from different terrains, like going from the snowy mountains to then this desert to then this jungle-looking biome. Like, I often spend my time just wandering through the area riding a machine. Like, the game is just so pretty to look at. And even things that I personally don't look for, the accessibility options, have been updated to match Forbidden West. So while I won't be using any of these, I can appreciate them being there just because the more people playing games, honestly, the better. But if you're unfamiliar with the story of this game, basically it takes you through Aloy's journey from being born to being an outcast of her tribe to finding out why she was an outcast from birth and then finding out why the machines act like the way they do. Again, I've said this a few times, but if you haven't played the first Horizon game, I really do recommend it. Like, even me personally, like, I pretty much don't like playing open world games anymore just because I find them too big and just too bloaty. Oh, I forget how big this damn map is. Most open world games these days are just boring busy work for no reason than just padding out time. Ubisoft, I'm looking at you. Like, put it this way, you could have Ubisoft's massive, stupidly open world that have nothing to do in them. Or you could have Yakuza, where it's just one city, but every single building you can do something in, and it's all really fun. God, even in a video where I don't talk about Ubisoft, I still rant about Ubisoft. That's kind of crazy. But all the issues I have with Ubisoft's open world games, I don't really have those with Zero Dawn. And again, I've probably showed clips of it in the video, but the combat in this game is so satisfying. Slowly chipping away at the machines by shooting at their weak points and setting up traps to disable them for a short amount of time while you just lay into them with your arrows. It's never not a good time, and it's so satisfying. Just the sound design in this game make it so great. The only critique I will say about the combat, and it's what critique I had when this game first came out, and that's that Aloy is just so weak. Like, this is normal difficulty, and it seems like she is constantly getting low on health and getting knocked over. But maybe that's just a skill issue. Who am I kidding? It's most definitely a skill issue. But now the big elephant in the room. Should this remaster exist? Now, I have two different arguments to this question. Firstly, I'd argue yes, but I'd also say that I don't think this should have been the highest priority at Sony. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to build up hype for Lego Horizon. I don't know. But it's just, I look at other franchises that deserve remasters. I just, why? Sony, I beg. Other franchises could do with a remaster. And I'm going to say that word that everyone loves to hear just because it deserves a remaster and I'm tired of asking for it. Bloodborne, or even the same developer of Horizon Zero Dawn, they have a certain FPS franchise that you could potentially remaster that just celebrated its 20th anniversary, Sony. I wonder what that's called. But hey, don't feel bad about me forgetting what it was called because Guerrilla Studios forgot to mention it as well. PlayStation account mentioned that it was the 20th year anniversary of Killzone, but the actual developers didn't. That should say a lot. Or would it kill Sony just to go to Sucker Punch, for example, and go, hey, I know you guys are working on the next Ghost game, but just for a laugh, how about you make that Infamous collection that fans have been desperate for the last decade? Or even go to Konami and tell them to save Metal Gear Solid 4 from the PS3. They're porting slash remastering slash remaking the first 3 games, so why not Metal Gear 4? I don't know why companies and publishers don't just look at the Battlefront remaster announcement. Both of these games are loved by so many people, myself included, and I was so ready to pick up that collection until the Battlefront curse happened once again because for some reason we just cannot get a good Battlefront game anymore. You just look at the reception that announcement trailer got and everyone was hyped for it because that game was just such a classic, and you could just see that happening again if Sony just randomly at a state of play went, yeah, we're you know, the first 2 Infamous games and the Festival of Blood Halloween DLC that they added. Yeah, it's all in that collection, and it's out next week. Go buy it. Like, why can't you just... Oh, bro. Or again, they just randomly dropped the 4 God of War games that are stuck on the PS3 slash PSP. Because again, like, especially with, maybe not so much the first 2 God of Wars, because everyone had a PS2, but like, not many people play Ghost of Sparta or Chains of Olympus. So, and it's just a different side of Kratos that you don't see anymore. Because Kratos is now what he is now. Like, he's so different compared to the original games. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, characters evolve. People that play like the 2018 God of War and Ragnarok, they potentially haven't seen this side of Kratos. So give them the opportunity to see it. All right, that's my little rant on remasters. But now the question of the video, is the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster worth it? Yes. Especially if you own the game and you haven't finished it. If you haven't bought the game or own the game, I wouldn't say it's worth the $50. But if you have a disc drive, go buy the physical copy and then get the $10 upgrade because it's really worth it for that.